Welcome to episode 21 of Cooking for Moderately Lazy People. Today we'll be making red wine beef stew. There isn't a tremendous amount of red wine in this recipe. It's 1 cup plus 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, with 2 pounds of stew meat, a pound of potatoes, plus celery and carrots. This recipe does take quite a while to make, but any good stew is going to have to simmer for a while. But there's not a whole lot of difficulty involved. It's mostly just cutting a few vegetables and assembling the ingredients. Let's get started. We'll start by taking 2 pounds of stew meat that we've patted dry with a paper towel and salt and pepper them to taste. We're then going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil into a Dutch oven and heat them on medium-high until shimmering. We're going to sear the beef as best we can on all sides, then set aside. Once we've removed the beef from the Dutch oven, we're going to add in a large, finely chopped onion, 4 minced cloves of garlic, and a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. We'll cook them until the garlic is fragrant, and then add 1 tablespoon of tomato paste and cook for a minute longer. Next, let's add the beef back into the Dutch oven, and we'll sprinkle it with half a cup of cornstarch. We'll toss the beef until the cornstarch is coating the beef and no longer visible. Once that's done, we'll add 4 cups of beef broth, half a teaspoon of thyme, 2 bay leaves, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 cup of red wine, and 3 ribs of celery, plus 3 to 4 carrots, cut into bite-sized segments. We will then heat the stew to boiling, then reduce it to a simmer and leave it for about 45 minutes, mostly covered. We're not going to add the potatoes I mentioned into the intro yet, because we want to get the celery and carrots to soften without turning the potatoes into a liquid. We'll add the potatoes into the stew later. While the stew, minus the potatoes, is simmering, we'll go ahead and start peeling and cutting up the spuds. While that's happening, let's talk cost. As always, cost will vary depending on your area. The stew meat is going to be the most expensive part of this by far, clocking in at about $8.50 per pound. So we're at $17 before we even get to the second ingredient. Fortunately, using 2 pounds of stew meat, this makes at least 5 to 6 servings, so the cost per meal won't be too severe. The potatoes run about $1 each, and 2 of them is about 1 pound, so that sets us back $2. Celery can run as low as $2.20 per package, but we're only using 3 stalks, so that's about 50 cents worth at most. The carrots are similar, with the package being around $2 per bundle, so we'll call that 50 cents to keep the math simple. The yellow onion is about $1.50, and the garlic cloves are about $1 per bulb, so about 40 cents overall. Tomato paste is about $1, and we're not using a full can, but it's not the easiest thing to store, at least not for me, because it tends to get lost in the fridge. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the whole dollar value here. The broth will come up to around $3, and the wine can run anywhere from $5 to $13 depending on the brand. Most appear to be around $7 when I searched, and we're only using half the bottle roughly, so I'm going to call it $3.50. The rest of the ingredients and the seasoning will basically be negligible cost due to quantity, so that brings a total to around just south of $30 for the whole thing. While I think that's the largest total cost I've had yet in one of these videos, even in the worst case of 5 servings, it's still less than $6 per serving. Once our stew has gotten to the 45-minute mark, we'll add our approximately 1 pound of potatoes and let it simmer for another hour. We'll then remove from heat and serve. And there we have it, red wine beef stew. A hearty meal with a hint of red wine flavor and some very tender beef. It's not the quickest recipe you'll ever make, but it's not too difficult. If you like this recipe, or the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any ideas for recipes that you'd like me to take a stab at, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and bon appetit!